Yesterday was possibly the coolest day of my life. We shot with Manny Pacquiao. We should probably talk about the Logan Paul thing.
Oh, yeah?
Should we?
Yeah. I deleted something from the Forrest Frank episode.
Oh.
I'm holding Napoleon's sword he went to war with. And in the other one, Muhammad's dagger.
Like they're actual.
One of them had blood on it. I see somebody like barricading the doors. They're making sure whoever this guy gets in, like you gotta make sure he's taken care of. And I was like, oh, I don't know who this is, but it's an A-star. She leans in, she goes, dude, look to your right. It's Jared Leto.
I'm just playing, I don't fight, I just pray. I only go the way of mistake.
That's lovely, George. I love it. It's a real gift to be around.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's a very good question. I love you guys.
You've given me something to think about.
Over for a lot of outlets.
Forrest, be frank with us.
Did that make the cut?
Yeah, no, it didn't. No. I didn't
You
even
never
do
said
it.
that to
I
him?
never did it.
What?
Welcome back to the George Janko Show, guys. We were just talking about the Forrest Frank episode.
Yeah.
Don't break it down.
Hey, guys, before we jump into today's Boys and Bell, and boy, do we have so much stuff to kind of go over. I just want to let you guys know that I've been in a deeply gratitude vibrating, vibe lately. And I hope that I am dishing that out to you guys. I know sometimes I get on the podcast and I'm expressing myself and I'm learning, but I also want to make sure that this show is something that when you guys tune into, it's kind of like how I watched Friends growing up and it took me away from my problems or my anxiety or things that I was dealing with. Not that I would be the sense or the source of your peace and joy, but I hope I'm adding to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What's up, guys? How are you?
What's going on? Good. How are you
Good.
guys doing?
What's up?
The best.
Good?
The best.
Yesterday was pretty crazy.
That was.
Yeah. Did we talk about it?
Yesterday was possibly the coolest day of my life.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Here's the reason why, and let me get into it.
Okay.
And I love how we're finally debriefing for real.
Yeah.
Usually
on
we
the
do this
podcast,
always
yeah.
off the camera, and we're like, we'll just save it for the camera, but then we can never do that.
Yeah.
We can't fake it.
What happened?
Well, we shot one of the biggest episodes yesterday. We shot with Manny Pacquiao. I was looking. There's literally no one here.
I think we deserve a round of applause from ourselves.
Before I explain how I felt interviewing him, what did you guys feel?
Well, neither of us, I think, are big boxing fans, right? Like, dude, this
Speak for
job is
yourself.
so weird. This job is so weird because we are in rooms with the biggest array of people that are at the top of their fields and things that I'm not educated in or respectfully care about. But here I am just filming one of the greatest boxers of all time who's never on a podcast, and it's just another day of work.
Right.
But I obviously am grateful for it and I respect it. So it's so interesting, being involved in this process.
When he walked in,
it was
holding the picture.
It was unbelievable.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
So we're all. I know Manny because I watch boxing. Not at that level where I'm like I know everything of his stats or anything like that. Nothing like that.
And I know him because I'm married to a man.
There it is.
So you know.
fair
So
enough.
you know.
Yeah.
And so I guess my job is to not only get to know them, but make them feel so comfortable that it feels like we're just chatting.
Yes.
On a couch, just hanging out. And sometimes I get nervous when they're really big celebrities or athletes, and the ones that really get me the most nervous is the ones when they're like, hey, by the way, he doesn't do this.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just all right, dude, I got to make sure that whatever I'm doing is appealing to his audience too. So I'm sitting there and I had the privilege of watching him spar. So I'm watching him spar before we get into our interview.
How was that?
Bro, yo.
Paint a picture. Paint a picture.
Okay. No disrespect to any friends of mine that box. But I watched them spar. I watched him hit the pads. It ain't Manny, dude.
I mean,
Bro,
I don't think that's any
Manny,
disrespect.
dude.
It's
Yeah.
Manny.
Dude. No. It was so loud when he hits the pad. And every time the dude would take out his hand, he would talk to his friend in the corner. And I would just stare at his hands. And he would just be talking. He's like, yeah, da-da-da-da-da. I don't know what they're saying because they're speaking another language. But
Just shaking.
His hands are like this. And I was like, oh, this guy's going to have
Wow.
the worst problem. This is going to be him when he's older.
Oh, poor guy.
Drink water.
Made a legend, though.
Yeah, made a legend. And by the way, him and Manny were best friends growing up.
Wow.
So that's been the same dude of his since he was a kid. And everybody there was so family oriented. Anyway, so let me paint the picture. So we're super nervous. We get the chance to sit down with him exclusively. He's getting ready for his next fight. By the way, we're at his gym, so he also has to go somewhere else. So everything is all about timing, but like it's kind of like not a home court advantage. When it's here at the house,
Yes,
I feel like the settings
definitely.
here, we're having to figure out how to set it up here at this gym. And bro, all of that, all of the nerves, all of everything walked away as soon as this man walks in, just holding a picture of him and his wife.
Like a poster.
Yeah,
Not
enlarged,
just like
laminated. Laminated,
like an 18 by
enlarged.
24.
This dude is the man of the people. He was just standing outside by himself, hanging out with all the fans. I found out that he was eating at this place. And so he comes in with this picture and he's smiling at me and he goes, and I was just like, oh, this guy is the most innocent man. Like just from that approach, I was like, such a childlike
smile.
heart.
So sweet.
Such a childlike heart. And then we sat there, and I'm not going to get into because that episode's coming out next week and I hope you guys watch it. But I remember when we were done, I felt like I really made a friend, dude. Like we had such a good time on that episode. And when I walked away, his friend that works with him goes, oh, dude, like no one's ever seen that side of him before.
Really? He
What
said
a
that?
Yeah,
privilege.
and I was like,
Wow.
oh, dude, that's such good news, bro.
Yeah.
My favorite compliments are, like, I can't believe you brought that out of me. Like when I did that with Forrest, or when somebody says to Belle, like, wow, that's a really good question.
Yeah, she always gets
Yeah,
that,
always,
by the way.
always.
They're
And
always telling
And by the
Belle,
way, you
"What a
cut
question."
past my daps. I always go like this, and I dap her up. I go, wow, that's a great question. Belle looked at me like this. She goes, you think the audience loves me? I was like, Belle, it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna want me to shut up.
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah,
and by the way, I've been talking to God about it, and I was like, make sure I'm not prideful. That's my wife. She needs
The
to
name
go.
of the show changes.
I'm on that seat again. I get
Shawna
the same
Janko
thing as an
show?
impulsive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk to her.
And I'm like, shut up.
She starts making fun of me. Like,
I
shut
love
up.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Shut up.
I'm dapping you up when you give a
Yeah.
good question.
Dude.
No, but bro, like Manny's just so pure. Like the way he walked in, said nothing, and then what I loved is that he sat down, like, and we didn't even say anything yet, you know, because we're just getting everything adjusted. He just sat down and he was like, "I'm Manny. I'm here." What was his? He had a little introduction ready for him.
Dude. Oh, by the way, I don't want to get too into it because we want you guys to watch the show. But like in this episode, my man was laughing. He was getting emotional. He started like legitimately singing to us. Out of all of the guests that I ever interviewed, he shook me the most because I was like, "There's no way you could do all this." Like he is a one-man shop. I don't want to get into it. I don't wanna get
Yeah,
into it.
no, it's great. It's great.
Hey guys, today is the last week to enter in the giveaway of being flown out to hang out with Belle and I. Have a cool conversation, maybe have some food, kick it, chill. It's gonna be fun. We'll fly you out, put you in a hotel, and after we're done hanging, we'll fly you back out home. To enter, all you gotta do is buy a piece of merch from theheartofdavid.co, and this is the last week, so make sure you guys get it. I love you guys. See you guys, and enjoy the rest of the show. I deleted something from the Forrest Frank episode.
What'd you delete?
Oh.
All right, so
There's also more to. There's another point about you deleting it that's extra funny that I want to tag on.
well, you go first then.
Because he goes, is it your story? Or something else? The story
So
at the end?
I deleted two things. I don't usually delete scenes unless like it was redundant. I get in my redundant phase where I'm like, oh, the audience has heard me say that,
Yeah,
so let's
yeah.
just take that out. Usually I'll do that, but the Forrest Frank episode, we were just so excited that we got like really passionate, and he shared a story and I shared a story. And that story shouldn't be shared.
I just remember also after you shared the story, you made a joke to him. You're like, you said, imagine I cut mine out and just leave yours. And he's like, that would be hilarious. And you guys like dapped up.
And that's what you did.
And then we literally cut it.
Hey, I called him though, out of respect. I let him know. I
Nice,
said,
yeah.
hey, dude, I took two things out. One of the things I cut out of the Forrest Frank episode was I just felt like it was gonna push people in the wrong direction, and my spirit was like, "Don't, bro." Like, I could do it in a comedy special where I'm like explaining the story where they think, "Oh, that's stupid. I don't want to do that." But the way I was explaining it, when I watched it back, I was like, "Oh, a kid would want to go through this experience."
Of course.
Got it.
So like I was like, "No, I don't want to push somebody to do something as stupid as something that I regret, and I don't want to do it." Right? That's one. That's the reason I took that one out, and he totally understood, and he actually really like appreciated that I took it out. And the other one was, so Forrest Frank was known for playing music in the street, and he would like like, I don't know, freestyle, but show people his new music, and they would just kind of vibe. I've been in the studio working on music lately because I've just been super inspired by all these artists that I've been hanging out with. And they've been motivating me. Like, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but if you have people that I like listening to, like Frank, Hulvey, all these other cats that I'm listening to, and they listen to my stuff that I'm working on, they're looking at me like, yo, you should do this. Like, this is really good. It inspired me. So for fun, I called Hulvey up and I said, yo, cut me a track from your new song. I'm going to put a verse on it. And I did. And dude, even Lecrae, when he was here, I played it for him. He took a lap. He like loved it.
Yeah.
He
was
loved
screaming.
It. He was screaming. He loved it. And then I showed him some other stuff, and I showed Hulvey that on the episode. And the reason I took it out,
Frank?
I'm sorry, Frank. Sorry,
Yeah.
And I took it out for two reasons. One, I don't know, man. It just felt like it was too much about me at the end because I was so excited, and I didn't want to like.
End it
about me. We just had this great conversation about this cat, and we got to learn so much about him, and then we're ending it about me.
Did you call him a cat?
Yeah, like a cool cat.
Dude, it was flowing off
I
the
wasn't
tongue.
gonna let that go. Go ahead.
I say that all the time.
That's cute.
Why do you gotta do that?
about this cat?
So I was with my dog.
Over that? Go on.
Well, if anybody's wondering where my confidence went, I made it about me, and then I was sitting there feeling that, and I was like, "Oh, dude, like I don't know," and then like I had to go through the record label to make sure that I could use this without it getting hit with a copyright. Now, I don't mind if the copyright takes away the monetization aspect of it, but it would have suppressed the video. And I was like, all right, bro, now I made it about me, and I'm hindering.
Just take it out.
But I'm gonna post it as a clip.
Let's
You
go.
are?
Yeah, because I can post it
Nice.
as a clip on like Instagram or TikTok and stuff. So I'm gonna show people that verse because, bro, it was so much fun. Like that moment was like us just chilling, listening to music together.
Yeah,
it was cool. So hopefully you guys you can look at that. That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be really fun.
What's going through your heart when you're playing? Like it was tense in a way. Like I could feel, when you pitch yourself, there's just that little bit of nervousness of like, is he gonna like it? When you first played it, were you nervous at all? Were you just like, oh, this feels right? Like I hope he likes it. Did you care about his opinion? Was it like?
So my nerves have it's kind of like a muscle, and you could kind of work it out.
Yeah.
I've always been a confident man. Like I've always just been confident, but there's a different level of confidence when you're like performing with other artists that are also confident and really strong. It's kind of like you're at the Olympics. You're sitting with these really impressive people. That kind of made me a little nervous. But the podcast helped me grow that muscle where I'm just like being very comfortable. I mean, yesterday we were done shooting with Manny, and Belle and Jess were like, yo, you got to go do stand-up today. You got to go do stand-up today because I've been trying to get practicing for our live show, which, by the way, it's going to be amazing, guys. I can't wait for tour. And if you haven't got your tickets now, please, dude, we're 3 months out. Get your tickets at thegeorgejankoshow.com. You don't want to miss. This is my first tour, and I'm very excited about it. Very, very excited about it. Anyway, so I go on stage, and I'm performing, and about my nerves, I turned to Belle yesterday, and I said, oh, I'm at a different frequency now of confidence because Dave Chappelle's team walked in right before I went on stage at the Laugh Factory yesterday, and I was like, oh, dang, like, this guy's so funny. Like, I don't want to perform in front of him. And I was like, no, I'm going to be fine. And I went up, and when I was performing, I saw them all, like, gather, like, watching me. And then when I came off, they all congratulated me. Because they know that I'm, like, new at this craft and everything.
Yeah,
and
they know you care about it.
Oh, they
So
love
it's different than somebody just being like, oh, I had a couple drinks, fuck it. I'm going to go perform on stage at an open mic. It's way different. It's like, oh, wow, this guy's like... It's fun watching somebody that's starting something new.
Oh yeah,
it's like, oh wow, this guy's got passion.
Yeah, and it was a big night. Like there were other big comics going up on stage, and you like fit right in. Like it seemed like you were just as seasoned as they were, and they're doing like the Tonight Show and Jimmy Fallon, and
it was sick. It was sick.
Yeah, he did such a good
think
job.
the confidence came from not worrying about being perfect. Like I just like I stopped comparing myself to everybody around me because everybody has their own journey, and like I would hear that this guy's been doing it for 20 years, then he blew up after this, or this guy just started right away and he blew up, and it's like everybody has their own timeline and everybody has their own journey, and I think my anxiousness and my nervousness came from me comparing, like, oh well, like this guy's doing it at this age.
You're analytical. You look around and your brain like tells you
YouTubers
where
are very
you
analytical because they look at the algorithm
Yeah.
and they look at the numbers. But I got rid of that because I didn't grow up like that.
Good for you.
That came after like the success of YouTube, and I had to like kind of learn that stuff. But lately I've just been on this like hey, if it ain't my day today, like blessed, man. Like I learned today.
Yeah.
Like next day.
You're gonna skyrocket now because of that.
Bro, I've been lately. Okay, let's get into that. I have never in my life. I really apologize for my throat. I don't know what's happening. I have never in my life had this much happiness. Like I'm not joking. Like I've always had happiness. Thank God. I've been very grateful. But this past few months, actually around the beginning of the year, I just started really focusing on God. Not like I always have in the past, but I'm saying like I won't touch anything business. I won't do anything in the morning. I'll put my headphones on and I'll just go outside right away. I brush my teeth. I throw my headphones on. I go straight into the sun right away, and I just walk for an hour or so, and I just worship. I start my day like that, and like I would, back in the day when I didn't do that, something small would happen, and in my brain, the house is on fire and my family's in it.
Yeah.
It's the last day of my life. Now the house is on fire, and I'm like, it's okay. We have insurance.
Leave them in there.
Yeah, like... Leave them in there. They've lived long enough. They're going to heaven now. It's so dark. No, but I don't look at my problems anymore, and I'm just like overwhelmed by them.
You're giving like your true trust and faith in God, and you're not like letting him know that you're, like by not trusting him and by having so much anxiety and stress all the time, then it's like you're showing him that you're not trusting him. And he's like, how many times, George, I gotta show you, like, look at this, And so now you're able to just fully trust him.
So the beginning of the year, when we had the Avengers episode, that is when everything was, it went up, but like also I got hit with so much turbulence from all directions of my life. And it was the first time where I got hit in all directions at that magnitude. It was really, 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 really bumpy ride. It was annoying.
Yeah.
I just released the Man on Water tour, and the Man on Water tour is basically a show describing how a man could stand above the water and not sink underneath the storm. And it's all the teachings that God gave me. And then all of a sudden, the biggest storms of my life came. And I remember turning to Reed, and I said, this is good, because I think God's going to use this.
It took you a little bit to figure that out, though.
Yeah.
Because like you're a man at the end of the day, and it's like, why are all these things happening? You were frustrated, bro. You like... I saw anger in your eyes, and then a week later you're like, I know why all of this is happening to me.
Yeah, because it was the first...
And that's when you tackled everything in the best way possible, because you realized it's a lesson.
Well, it was the first time that it wasn't my causing. Usually all the other storms were my causing. Yes. And I was like, I can figure that out. Like,
I can clean up.
Yeah, This one, it was like, oh, dude, these are dirty shots.
Yeah.
And it was really weird. And I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense, because my brain couldn't comprehend it. I was like, all right, God, we got here. But then now all these evil things are happening that I have no control of. Why would you let that happen? And before, my brain would be like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little boy. But now I've gotten so wise in my faith that I'm like, no, this is training. He's training me for something. And dude, I tell this to Bella all the time. I'm like, bro, like, I'm so happy I went through that, because it was so much on my chest and so much on my mind and so much on my brain. And instead of me just being like, you know what? I'm exhausted. I'm quitting, bro. I don't want to do this. Like, I literally was like, no, if God brought me here, he'll see me through it. Like, I believe what I preach to these people. Like, okay, like, this is a lot. I just got a house. I just got married. I'm already dealing with all these personal things with the church and all these things. And then now my business happened. And now my finance happened. All these things happen. I'm like, okay, but I can walk through this. And I figured out, like, hacking the matrix. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like all the bullets froze in the air when I mastered this one thing. And this is, I pray that I say this right. I'm in the middle of the wilderness, a dark place, the valley of the death, a storm. That's the painting of it, right? And I just take a deep breath, and I immediately start getting grateful. Instead of me waiting for my God to show up and then start the healing process, I closed my eyes and I started, in my mind, seeing God already healing it. And I was just praying, God, how do you want me to see this as a faithful man? And he says, rejoice. Be extremely happy. Look at these days as if it's your greatest. And I was like, okay, but that's hard, because like, it's not. And I've had some fantastic days, and like, these days are scaring me. And I have so-and-so to look after, and I have so-and-so to look after. And I put bread on all these people's tables, God. how do you want me not to be in fear? Wouldn't that be disrespectful? Like if I was just like, oh, whatever. It's like if it happens to them, it already happened to me. And God goes, no, you don't understand. If you're putting that weight on you, then you're saying that you don't trust me to be able to flow it back to them. That you are actually saying that you're now the provider and you're not saying that I'm the provider. So now you're saying that this day has the actual turnover of what's going to happen and not my word and not my say. So are you going to look at the storm and say, oh, it won? Or are you going to say, wait, who created you and why are you here? And so I looked at it and I was like, okay, I'll step forward in it. And it made me so much more calmer in storms and so much more patient and so much more loving that now when I see a dude on a road rage, or if that guy at the pizza place that wanted to fist fight me out of nowhere, or like all these situations, I don't look at it from a prideful standpoint. And that is this, ready? How do I feel about this moment in time? I changed my life when I stopped worrying about me because my God is worrying about me. That's in his hands. So I'm going to worry about my neighbors and the circumstances around it. So as soon as I stopped thinking about myself, I kind of like zoomed out and then I realized, oh, these storms are not that big of a deal. And I've actually been here before and God has seen me through. So why am I going to say right now that he can't deal with it? Isn't that disrespecting him? Isn't that me saying I'm not trusting in him as my father? So you know what? I'm going to be fine. He'll take care of it. And bro, like the sea parted in front of me overnight, all of the problems fell off. Imagine a fruit that just dried up and died and fell down. And I realized, I go, okay, cool. Like all of my obstacles have nothing to do with my work ethic. It has to do with the positioning of my heart. And bro, this year I feel like chains broke off of me.
Wow.
It is my favorite year I've ever had in my life. And it was the craziest start to a year that I've ever had in my life.
Thank God.
We should probably talk about the Logan Paul thing.
Oh, yeah?
Should we?
Yeah. I think I wanted to, because I'm getting so many people messaging me when that episode's coming out. And I just want to make sure that I properly say this. I flew to Puerto Rico to shoot an episode with...
we flew to Puerto Rico, by the way.
Yeah, all of us did.
Yeah.
And by the way, one of the best trips we've ever had.
I know.
Yeah, that was a great trip.
Plane ride still sucked, but...
The plane ride always
rides.
sucks, dude. It takes so long to get to Puerto Rico, dude.
It's okay. We had a little vacay.
We did. We got tan. We had margaritas. Or
Yeah, I'm
vibe.
stoked
Pina
on the
coladas. Yeah,
It was
sir.
great. We like had a dinner. Logan and I wanted to have a dinner before.
Was it the first night? We landed,
Yeah,
and then you guys went straight to dinner. We were going to do the podcast the next day.
Yeah, we sat down, and it's like good and bad, right? Like, I really wanted to have that conversation. I kind of wanted our relationship to go kind of back to where it was, where we would hang out and stuff. But sorry, hold on. I start crying. really like making this. You know what I'm saying? I got out of that conversation is that we both have great love for each other. I think we kind of put down our egos for a second and we're like, hey, dude, like, I'm sorry. He said he's sorry. I said I'm sorry. And I think that the relationship, from what I've kind of gathered through that, is kind of like we just outgrew each other. Like I went this direction, he went this direction, but I'm still rooting for him. And I could tell very much that he loves me and he's rooting for me as well. And he's so authentically himself. And I'm very grateful for that. And also so am I. So it just didn't make sense for us to sit on a couch and have a conversation where we're not there. Maybe in the future we will be there, and maybe we'll but we can't fake something that's not there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things in his heart that he weighs out that he's frustrated about. And there's a lot of misunderstandings on my point that I'm not able to understand his frustration. But I love him, dude. And I'll always be so grateful for him, dude. Like that man, was one of the blessings that God gave me. And it would be very egotistical and stupid of me to be like, no, you need to see it from my point of view. I pray that one day we could see eye to eye. I pray that if I'm in the wrong of understanding his positioning, that my eyes are opened and I could see it and apologize for like the misunderstanding. To be honest, out of all of the people that I ever parted away from and then like got back and had a conversation with, that one was the one that like I really respected because it was just cool to give him a hug and look at him and like talk about his kid and like talk about me getting married and stuff. So there's still love there. I do believe that one day, God willing, we'll see eye to eye with things. But as of right now, we're kind of like just on our own journey. But the only reason I'm bringing this up, not to start drama or the clickbaits or anything like that, but there's just been so many people wanting that episode and waiting for that episode that unfortunately, I guess we're just going to have to keep waiting. Maybe in the future when we're both like a little bit more wiser and understanding of each other, then we could just sit down.
Both
and
of
have
you
a
80 years old, just sitting on Logan.
We sit back down. He's like, I don't agree with you. I'd be like, Logan, I just took another 12-hour flight, dude. We could have had this on the conversation on the phone. That was the only thing that I was like, dude, we should have talked on the phone. Like, I just flew like 14 hours.
Yeah.
Even if it does part away, it's like the last time we saw each other was so like ugly.
Yeah.
That like I'm glad that God at least there was closure. It was like a good like. Now when I see him, I don't feel weird. Like it's just like, all right, cool. Like it's my boy. Like
Yeah, you both
like,
authentically shared your opinion.
Like,
yeah.
You at least got to talk about it.
And you know, a lot of people have their strong opinions about Logan, but like I really do think that kid is just an honest kid, and he's like making his way and he's learning, and the dude's a powerhouse. He has like a strong brain, a strong mind, a strong spirit. So it's like
root against him all you want, but you're good luck.
Hey, bro, by the way, like everybody always comes up to me talking shit. Like I'm going to join. They're like, yo, by the way, fuck Logan. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I was like, I'm not going to join you, bro. Like, stop. That's my boy.
With a cross on their neck.
They'll sit there talking to me about Jesus and like, and by the way, what's up with that guy? And I was like, dude, literally don't do that.
They want to spill the tea with you. But I think that too, like God willing, if you guys ever do sit down together, then maybe like that conversation will be even better. Like it'll be triple times more special because it'll have been so much more time will have passed.
Yeah.
You guys will both have so much more wisdom than you even do now, you know?
Yeah.
So
For real.
And bro, like, here's the thing. Like, I'm not saying, I don't want anybody to listen to this and be like, it's all Logan. It could be me, bro. I could be the one misunderstanding this whole situation. He could really be bringing in a fair point, and I could be looking at it and be like, no, you're wrong. And then later on in life, I was like, ooh, because, bro, that is the singing song that I've been doing for a long time. Where I'm like so straightforward on understanding something, and then later on being like, oh, I was wrong. Like, I was wildly wrong. I'm very sorry. As of right now, I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
but like, maybe I'll grow. Maybe I'll
100%.
learn. Or maybe he'll wake up one day and he'll be like, oh, wait a second. George was right.
Oh, no.
Yeah, George was right the whole time.
you never know.
He's so beautiful and smart. We could pray.
But what I thought was cool about that trip, though, is that even though things didn't go as planned, right? We did fly all the way to Puerto Rico, and there was going to be potentially an episode to be filmed. But George came home. He came back to the hotel, and we all like made the best out of it. Like we were in Puerto Rico for Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and we all just had ourselves a little vacay. Like,
can I say what I said
It was
before
one of
I
my
left?
favorite trips ever.
Can I say before I left?
Sure.
Yeah.
Before I walk out of that room to go have dinner with him, I turned to you guys and I said, I don't think it's going to happen. Like before I met him, there was something in my spirit that said, it's not the time yet. Mm-hmm. And I really do think that whole time was just for us to sit down and just like put a polite break on it.
Yeah.
But dude, how weird is it that I looked at you? Bro, I've been pretty on when I'm like, yo, I feel like...
When your gut feelings are nuts, dude.
Bro, and sometimes I don't even tell you guys my gut feelings because I'm like so scared of my gut feelings.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, don't feel that way.
Well, I just can't imagine if you guys didn't have that dinner. And it was the next day. We set up the podcast. He walks on. You guys are here. Then he sits down and you guys 10 minutes in go, we don't agree on this at all. I'll see you later.
You know what would have been bad is because we're both showmen and we both don't
on
back down.
camera, yeah.
So like if
it was kind of best case
gotten
scenario.
ugly. It would have gotten ugly and it wouldn't have done any good. It was
Thanks for the vacation, Logan.
Yeah. Thank you.
I had to pay for it. But
Thanks
it was
again,
great.
Logan.
And by the way, like Puerto Rico's great.
Yeah.
And also,
dude.
I'll end something on a good note for the Pauls. We were sitting around looking at wild horses and wild animals. And the guy driving, the Uber driver, they were like, you know the Paul brothers? And I was like, here we go. Another guy's going to talk shit. I was like, bro, what? He's like, they save all these animals. They like have like a rescue program where they take care of these animals. Mm-hmm. And he goes, they give back to Puerto Rico a lot. So there you go. I just want to say some good things about them. Before
The dogs, right? All the wild dogs.
And they had no idea who we were at all. He was just like randomly like, oh, yeah, there's so many stray dogs, the Paul brothers.
Yeah. He was, because we were talking about all the dogs and there's literally wild horses that just walk around Puerto Rico and no one owns them. They don't belong to anybody. They're just walking around living their life.
What else is wild is Zaya Younan. Ayo.
Left
this
field.
Guy is a movie. Like oh my God. So first of all, I want to be, this is my last episode. His name's Zaya Younan. One of my favorite episodes I have ever done in my life. You guys have to go watch it. Honestly, it didn't do that great compared to like what it should have done. That episode should have had millions on its own.
Yes.
It did millions in clips, but like the whole episode alone, it was just, he was a hoot, bro. And I actually want to bring him back as for a part 2. So how I know about this gentleman is my dad opened up a cigar lounge. I always grab this. It's El Septimo cigars. And so my dad's like, you know, a Syrian man owns this, right? And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah. So I always have the cigars and I always love them. And my dad would always be like, you know, he's a very successful businessman. And he would just talk about him. And one day he FaceTimed me. And I was like, oh, hey, nice guy. Talking to him. Great time, right? I'm walking in the neighborhood and I'm just sitting there like listening to music and I'm like, God, like I really want a special guest, like somebody like I could learn from, I could grow from, like what would be like a good and as soon as I'm done praying this prayer, my dad calls me. And now my dad is never recommended a guest. A lot of people come up to him and be like, yo, could you get your son to get me on the podcast?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's my son's job. Don't even talk to me about it. Right?
Respect.
Right?
Yeah.
My dad calls me, he goes, George, I think you should have Zaya on the show. I think you could learn a lot from him. Now, I don't know anything about this guy besides he has a good cigar. That's it. This dude, let me just log line this. And by the way, I pray to God they make a movie about this guy.
Yeah.
And I pray to God I play him because it would be such a fun role. This guy went from being a boy in his country, getting beat up for his faith, getting so scared of living in that country that he fled his country at the age of 13 years old with nobody and nothing besides his Bible. Nobody and nothing besides his Bible. And then he comes to the country that everybody has the opportunity to do and becomes a freaking billionaire, bro. Being a millionaire is one thing. Being a billionaire is like, dog, I didn't even think my whole bloodline from the time they existed has the money that this guy's just chilling with.
Yeah.
And he's so humble, bro. He's so humble. Very, very passionate. In fact, this dude's a rocket ship. If you listen to him, he's just like, oh, every time. Have you ever seen a movie where the guy's like trying to get them into war, right? And I used to always laugh because I'd be like, that speech is nothing.
Yeah.
Like that speech for me to leave my wife and kids with a sword and I can
hilarious.
get chopped
Yeah,
up into
yeah.
pieces. I'm not running into this.
Not good enough. Not good enough. You almost got me. You almost got me.
Like the guy's pounding on his chest. I'll be the guy slowly backing away. And I'll be the medic. You know, this guy speaks and I'm like, I want to fight for this country, bro. He gets me fired up. So he invites me to his house. Me and my wife go there. And by the way, me and my wife have been in this pattern where we're hanging out with 50-year-olds plus.
Yes.
And their kids know that we're coming to hang out with their parents, that their kids are our age, but we've just randomly been hanging out with adults lately because our brains are just operating
But
at
I've been
this level.
laughing about this so highly. Like,
Our best
we're
friends are almost grandma and grandpas. Like,
yeah.
those
Like-
are our best friends.
George and I are like family hopping. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. They break up. We're like, we'll get a new family.
We'll get a new family. Like, the kids leave. They leave. They're our age and older, and they leave, and we stay with the parents. And
That's
We just get
so
along. We just get
funny.
along with the parents. So this family is Zaya's family. We're hanging out with him and his beautiful wife, his beautiful family. But the family leaves now. It's just the wife. You know, the two married men and the married wife. We're just hanging out. It's like a
Yeah.
fan. And I was telling him, I was like, yo, like I love art. And he goes, oh, I have a collection of art. I was like, let's get out of here. Let's go check this out. So we go to this other place. Dude, this dude has the craziest artifacts I have ever seen in my life, bro. In one of my hands, I'm holding Napoleon's sword he went to war with. And in the other one hand, Muhammad's dagger. I'm holding...
Like, they're actual.
One of them had blood on it.
Yeah, he said they had this blood samples.
Bro, I'm holding these things and I'm like, how do you have this? I literally looked at him, I go, how do you have these? And this dude, and this is how I knew this guy's like, he's like Iron Man and Batman put together. Just casually, by the way. Just looking up at his art, he goes, oh yeah, the museum wasn't doing so well, so they auctioned some stuff. And I was like, yo, dog.
That's insane.
Insane.
I go to garage sales and I'm
Yeah.
like, too much.
Yeah.
This guy's going to places that they hold artifacts that I didn't even think they let out of museums. And he's just
Right,
chill.
right.
And by the way, it's like, they're like stacked on each other. Like they're just,
He has a full
bro, he
lace
just stacked
full.
on each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is crazy.
cool.
This is crazy.
Wow.
But mind you too, what's even cooler is that a lot of the stuff were like given to him from presidents
Yes.
and people of governments of different countries because he's actually helped them and he's helped them through wars
That's
and he's
even
helped
cooler.
put their people into housing and have put food on their table. And so they've like graciously been like, here, he's gotten a medal from France, you know, like
It's like a video game when you complete a quest and you get an item as a reward.
Bro,
That's sick.
I asked him, there was a flag that was folded up and you know what I loved? It wasn't the gold and rubies that touched his heart. This is cool. It was like the cheap things, but meant the most.
Yeah.
He says, this flag, they folded and gave it to me. And underneath it was like this written thing about him. And the reason they gave him that flag was during a genocide or a war, he paid all of the men that died, not only their funerals, but he took care of the mortgages that they left behind for their wives and children.
What a good guy.
So this dude is literally, we're at dinner. This is the type of man that he is. We're at dinner, and he's telling me his new plans that he has for life. And I'm like, yo, I'm in. Like, how can I help? How can I serve, right? And he sits there, and he goes, God has blessed me with the best food and the best drinks when I came from a place I didn't even have a home. He goes, but because I see my people homeless, I still walk around as if I'm homeless. So from this day forward in my life, all I think about is what God wants me to do for them. And I was like, you have the budget. Like, you have the budget, man. Like, dude, this guy, like, I can't even believe how generous this guy is. This guy, as I'm holding a drink, would pour it and put it to my lips. And I was like, oh, dude, like,
Wow.
but it's
it's
a reason.
very Middle Eastern, but
Yeah.
very, very generous. Like, it's a good dude. And also, it's like, it goes to show you got to meet somebody personally because so many people would tell me stories about him. And they're like, oh, he's like this and he's like that. And then when I meet him, I'm like, oh, this poor guy is one of the nicest, most generous man. But they'll speak about his name because they're just jealous.
Isn't it
And they're
crazy what
angry.
jealousy would do? Like
They tear down people's names.
Yeah, like has done more for other people than God knows, you know, whatever. You don't measure, but you know what I mean. And you're gonna, because you're jealous, you're gonna paint him out in such an ugly way when it's like he's actually such a beautiful man with such a beautiful heart. It's wild.
But
I
we've
mean,
been interviewing some incredible humans. There is
Very.
somebody that's
It's
coming
really
on.
awesome.
Actually, there's two people that are coming on. That I'm like, I don't even want to say, but like
Really?
if we get them on, well, you know.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
one.
And then we'll beat
Got
these
it.
out.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So those two.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be
Oh my
super
god! Oh my
exciting.
god! I almost
Wait,
forgot to say this.
Wait, are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say?
Is it about the massage place?
No.
What are you gonna say?
Love on the spectrum.
No, we might be getting one of those guys on.
Really?
But I had-
Please.
The reason why I didn't watch Love on the Spectrum is because I was just the idea of it. I felt like it was kind of messed up. And I only heard about it from Shane Gillis's stand-up. So, like, in my brain, he painted a very vivid picture.
Yeah.
And, dude, it's one of my favorite shows. Like, it is the most wholesome. There's some parts where I watch it, and I was like, I feel like they're forcing, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
But there's some where you could... Because here's the thing. I grew up in resource class. So... like half of the time I was spending time with people that have like a disability or are on the spectrum, and they're the greatest human beings. And this show captures
It does. It captures the magic.
It captures it
Yeah.
so well,
Nice.
bro. I felt like I time traveled back to class, and I was
I
like,
need to
oh,
watch
these
it.
are my friends. Like, and by the way, the most innocent, heartwarming people.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what I wanted to talk
Oh
about.
yeah, no, I want because you know, like same, like I'm not a big reality TV show. Like I don't watch any of the love shows or the other reality shows. And so when this came to, I was like, wow, we're making a love show now about this. I was like, what? So everyone was talking about it, then was not interested. But man, yeah, like you get to really understand them. I think this is so helpful for everyone to have a deeper understanding of the people who they truly are. I think that not everybody is somebody who has, you know, someone who maybe is on the spectrum, who's autistic in their family or as friends. So you're not quite sure how they operate. So when you're out in public, maybe you don't know how to, you know, you feel like you want to, I didn't say
Oh,
that
that's
properly.
interesting. No, I understand what you're saying.
Totally
you don't know
get
how
what
to
you're saying.
communicate with it because sometimes you don't want to be rude or go off on the wrong approach.
Right. So
Like
you don't
this
know
is
how to
teaching them
navigate.
how to like have that conversation with them.
Yes.
I actually naturally had that because I grew up with them.
Right, but not everybody's like
I never saw it from that perspective,
fully
yeah.
understands their train of thought. So now it's like now when we're out in public, maybe we can be a little bit more helpful to each other. If you see somebody, maybe they are struggling with something, and you're like, oh, I can tell, because I could tell what they're going through, and they get overwhelmed. We could be helpful with that. And why I wanted to bring it up is because something that they all have, most of them have in common, is that they're all believers. And they have very strong faith, and they're very dedicated to their relationship with God. And I think it's very interesting because when you look at them, they have a very childlike heart and they see things very purely, and they're very smart. I mean, they remember everything, and when they sit down with each other, and they're so pure of heart that maybe they're missing some of the social cues that we have, but who cares? They're just honest in who they are. And I think that what's so interesting, because of their memory and their brain of being able to remember things, it's interesting that they see the value of God and they see the value of his word, sometimes even more than we do.
Amen. I so agree with you. And I want to add another thing to that because that is so beautifully said. They appreciate things that we look past.
Yes.
They bro, when I don't want to spoil her, but when that girl had her first kiss and watching her just her butterflies are exploding, and the fact that she's been thinking about this, and then one of them doesn't want to have sex until marriage, and and the way he passionately explained himself about it, I was like, yo, they're enjoying life at a level that we were designed to enjoy life, but we are so far in our own thoughts and our own fears, but they're just living with the day-to-days of what's true and beautiful in life. And dude, it was a great show. That wasn't what I wanted to bring up. What I wanted to bring up is when I went to the spa with you guys on Simi's birthday.
Spa.
Dude, okay, so
Yes, the spa. Yeah.
that was a lot. That was a lot. I'm siding with him. That was hey, you took a shot at me.
No, but she is on
Filling
top
in-
of the joke because she's the one that laughed at it first, and then I made fun of it. So she was the one that knew it was funny. 100%. No, you were on top of it. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something else. I was watching you guys go back and forth. All right, so we're at the spa.
Yes.
We're at the spa, and we have 3 massages. 2 of them are going to be...
You're having 3 massages?
Yeah, we're having 3 massages.
What are you?
No, there's
what
3
are you
of us.
talking about?
There's 3 of us.
Okay.
So 2 of them have to go together because we have to be separated. So there's a spa and there's the massages. So the 2 girls go first. Obviously, I'm not gonna go first. The 2 girls go first. So I'm sitting in the spa by myself. I've never been in a spa by myself. I'm usually with a friend or somebody.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there by myself, and it's just so weird. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just chill. Sit in a sauna. One of the saunas, no exaggeration, was 2:30. 2:30. That's how hot it was. It's 2:30.
Crazy.
And I went into to go get some water, and I see somebody barricading the doors. They're making sure whoever this guy gets in, you got to make sure he's taken care of. And I was like, oh, I don't know who this is, but it's an A-star. It's for sure an A-star. There's no way that they're going this crazy to get this guy in order. Then all of a sudden the guy walks in. I only see the back of his head. He's wearing glasses. And by the way, it felt like, and I don't know if it was me because I was so excited to see who it was, but it felt like he just flew across the room. And I was like, oh, who is that? And but then they call my name. So I'm like, oh. And then now Belle and Simi, who are the other 2 girls, they come down. And I'm like, oh. Now they get to hang out with him. And I was waiting by myself the whole time. So I'm getting a massage. And they put me in a room where it's right next to everybody in the other side. And everybody's dying of laughter. You just hear, and I'm sitting there. I can't even concentrate because I'm like, damn, he's famous and he's funny. They're having a great time out there. And so I'm like, oh, whatever. The guy's giving me a good, by the way, his name was Sergey. Great massage.
Nice,
Great
Sergey.
massage. And so I'm getting a massage. So finally, I'm like, I get out. I go to go meet them. And I look around and I don't catch anybody that I know. I'm like, oh, maybe he left. But I can see all the bodyguards everywhere. So I'm like, I don't know where the heck this guy is, but whatever. So I go to them. I'm telling them the story about how I could hear you guys laughing. What was so funny, making them laugh. Talked about the massage guy. So I'm making them laugh. And then Simi, my friend, it was her birthday. She leans in. She goes, dude, look to your right. It's Jared Leto. And I'm like, what? So I try to not make it obvious. I was trying to make a joke. So I turn over and he's in the pool and his hair, because you remember he has Jesus hair. So his hair is wet and it's parted and you could only see this. So he's in the water. He's just floating like
And he's
this.
wearing the sauna hat.
Yeah. He wasn't wearing the sauna hat at the time.
Not in the pool?
Not in the
Oh,
pool.
okay.
So his hair just like floating down, and he's going like this, and just look. And I was just like, oh, that is Jared. I was like, okay, just chill, bro, chill. Like, it's
Just
a spa.
Jared.
So in my brain, I'm like, dude, that would be so cool to have a conversation. My brain just goes into like, oh man, I wonder what would it be to have a podcast with him and like have a conversation with him. Like, dude, the guy's been a legend in the industry for such a long time. I want to know about the Joker role. I want to know about his relationships. So my brain's going off, but then immediately, I've been in this industry enough to know, hey, dude, he's probably with his family and he doesn't want to be associated with like business right now. So like, be respectful. Just stay at the spa, let him enjoy himself. And if it's meant to be, God will bring up the opportunity to you. They go to the bathroom and all of their friends are going to the spa or into the sauna. And in my brain, I'm like, damn, I was just about to walk in there. And I didn't want him to think that I was like trying to follow him.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at him. He's opening the door and he just turns and looks at me. And I was just like, because like, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but have you ever been looking at somebody and thinking about something so deep that you feel like you get
You're
caught?
in another place, basically.
Yeah. So I'm just like, and then he just goes, and I'll go,
Oh no.
You were already looking at him?
yeah, it's Jared Leto.
Staring.
If he's not looking at me, I'm looking at him. You know what I mean? I do the polite thing when he's not looking. I just go. But as soon as he looks away, I just go. Because it's Jared Leto. I don't care, dude. I have nothing to prove, dog.
How often do you see Jared Leto?
Here's the thing, dude. I don't like it when people find a level of success and then they stop getting excited. That's stupid, bro.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
excited.
yeah.
That's Jared
Dumb.
Leto. Show some respect.
You're staring at him, bro.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay.
He's a beautiful man, by the way. Very beautiful, by the way. Very beautiful.
So he looks at you.
By the way, I always get clipped for saying the gayest things.
Yeah.
The Andrew Tate thing was like a learning lesson, and
Yeah.
obviously it hasn't been because I just
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
saying
yeah.
very gay things. So
Fine, you're secure in your
whatever, bro.
masculinity.
Thank you,
You're,
Belle.
you're,
We're falling apart as a
you're
team.
secure in your masculinity.
And action.
You're secure in your masculinity. You're secure in your masculinity.
Masculinity.
Whoa, whoa.
Masculinity. Masculinity.
And
Wait,
action.
is she serious?
Masculine.
No. You gotta go. And action.
You're secure in your masculinity.
And action.
You're secure in your masculinity.
Nice.
Good job, Belle.
Sorry, sometimes.
Wow, you can talk.
So he turns. I do I look away, and he just walks right up to me, and he goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know I love your show." And he sticks my bro, my brain like shattered because I thought he was gonna come because I was standing. Look at how stupid and insecure I am. I'm standing next to the towels. So as he's walking towards me, I was like, I should get out of his way. Like he needs to get like towels.
He needs a towel, yeah.
And then when he stuck out his hand and he said, "Yo, I'm a big fan of your show. I love what you
No
do."
way.
And I shook his hand and I was like, "Oh, bro, like I'm a huge." I felt guilty because I was like, "Should I have said something?" I was like, I immediately go to my innocent thoughts. I go, "Dude, I'm so sorry I didn't say anything to you. I thought you were, I thought you wanted to be by the spot by yourself. I'm such a big fan. I love your band. I love your acting." And then he just stared at me, and I just stared at him. And in
So
my
cute.
brain, at the time, I should have been a businessman and be like, "Dude, I'm glad you like the show. Why don't you hop on, like talk?"
Yeah.
But I was just staring at him because I was just like, "This is so cool." Because my brain just went to like, "Yo, this is so cool." The people that I used to watch growing up, or like I do watch, they watch my stuff, and I felt like so like excited that my art is being like looked at.
Yeah.
And so we're just staring at each other like this. Hold on. And he's just staring at me. It's so calm, so patient, so secure with himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." And he stares at me, and he goes, "Okay." And then he starts walking, and my brain.
Wait.
He
He was
waited like
silent,
he
and then he
waited a
said,
bit.
"Okay."
He waited a bit, and he's like, "All right."
like,
I was like,
Waiting for the
Oh,
invite.
no.
honestly, bro, like I think I might have had a stroke towards the end. I don't even know exactly. Like it was all a blur at that point because I was like really just studying his facial features because I was like, this guy's
Nice
beautiful.
cheekbones, his eyebrows are
So he
really-
starts walking this way, and in my brain, I'm like, you idiot. Why didn't you talk to him? Like, what's wrong with you, bro? You do
You're
this.
so good at
you do
talking
this
to people
for,
like
for
this,
work.
too.
What are you
Yeah.
doing? So I already knew about the hats, right? Because I was like trying to figure out, like, quick. What can I bring up? What can I bring up?
Yeah,
What
we
can I bring
have
up?
a sauna at
Bro.
home.
I have a sauna, and I have these hats. For some reason, my mouth goes, "What's up with the hats?" Like this, right? And he turns around like a slow motion movie, like he's gonna say some like cool catch line at me, and he turns around, and then a freaking employee just gets right in front of him. He goes, "Those hats are for sale right over here if you would like it." So then my ass went, "Oh yeah, okay. Can I take 3, please?" And I get walked all the way to the front, and I'm like, and now you think that these hats are like what, $5? They're like just small hat, $30 for each of them. So I bought $90 worth of a
What
hat
a nightmare.
for no reason.
And you bought them? You bought them.
I
You
had
were
to.
so
I
deep
had
in
to
your
buy them.
own
I had to.
awkward
I had
lie
to
that you just
commit.
committed.
I had to commit. It was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing, bro. I haven't been to that spot since. I was like, oh God.
So me and I were excited. We got out of the bathroom and he's like, I got you guys these hats. We're like, ooh, the fun hats. So, you know, what's in a
I
lot.
handed it to them. They're like, why'd you get this? I'm like, I'll tell you guys later.
Yeah, we're like, what?
And by the way, we got into the sauna. It was 2:30, bro. 2:30. We try to hang with them because they're all in there. And by the way, they were like whipping each other with like flowers. What was it? Like
Oh,
What?
it's the bay leaves.
bay leaves. So he's sitting down like this in this 2:30. And I'm like, okay, perfect. We'll sit in here, casually bring up. And I could hang, dude. I own a sauna, right? I could hang. So I'm like, this is what my plan is. All of his boys are going to drop like flies. But him and I, we're the lead guys.
So business.
We'll figure it out. We'll hang, dog. It was like 4 minutes in there. My skin started feeling like somebody was lighting it on fire.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta get out of here. My feet on the way out burnt. So you know how embarrassing it was going from like, I could hang to
Oh, you were like skipping out.
and I was like, you guys enjoy your time. And I just like leave. I was in there for 8 minutes.
This is bad, dude.
There's when you were getting your massage, there's these two girl employees who are so sweet and they're like, oh yeah, they're like, you could get smacked by the bay leaves. And they were so
Yeah, because they
stoked.
upcharge.
What are you
Yeah, yeah.
talking about getting smacked by leaves?
No,
It's
no,
like a
they were.
pop-
Hello? What was that?
I think that was a sneeze or something.
Was that me?
I don't
Huh? Oh, there was a pile of leaves. So it's like a bouquet of bay leaves. And when you get smacked with them, smack, 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 in the heat, it does something for your circulation and it does some things, right? Yep. I don't know.
Yo, rich people just be on their own wave.
Yeah, but these girls were
That's
so
crazy.
excited to do it for Samina. Oh, please, you want me to do it for you? Yes. Oh my gosh, yes, in an hour. We'll do it for you. We'll meet in there. I'll smack you with the bay leaves. It's going to be amazing. They were so stoked. And I thought it was going to be free, you know? So I was like, yeah, I'll meet
They
you.
make you pay?
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
They're
girl.
like, I'll see you guys there in an hour.
Bro.
We'll start warming up. I'm like,
I was like, absolutely. I'll meet you in there. I'm stoked. And then I was like, wait, hold on. I was like, is this a service? I was like, and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, I don't really want to be hit by the leaves that
is
bad.
so
It's okay.
weird.
Yeah.
Well, so Jared Leto should come on the show.
Yeah, so, Jared, if you see this.
dude, we have some guests lined up where I'm just like, I can't believe it.
I know.
You know what I mean? And by the way, one of the guests was my dream guest.
Yeah.
Was my, like, if this happens, then yeah, I've done it. Like, I did what I wanted to do. And it might happen. I don't want to get you guys too excited, but let's just say.
Don't get me too excited, man.
Yeah, when I told
Oh.
Reed, he almost lost his mind.
Oof.
Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging with us. Sorry we were so sporadic today. We literally went to bed. I went to bed like 4 yesterday, and then I woke up, tried to shoot this pod before I get out of town again. But I just want to let you guys know from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in, giving me grace, hanging with me, my wife, and my best friend. And next week we have Manny Pacquiao for you guys, and it is going to be an episode where
Awesome, dude.
it's unlike any other thing. Like it
Yeah,
really,
it's one of a kind episode.
it
It is
really
one
was.
of a kind.
It really was. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Don't forget, we're going on tour. So you guys could catch us for the podcast tour. It's called The Man on Water. You can get your tickets at thegeorgejankoshow.com.
Come hang.
Come hang.
Can't wait to see you.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Peace.